Welcome to the second lore video on this channel. Last time we established the basic geography of Fantastic Frontier, and this time we will be taking a closer look at Ratboy's nightmare. This story will be split up into two videos, and in the first video we will be analyzing the story and the characters of Ratboy's nightmare, and then in the second video we will find out what exactly the nightmare is and if it's actually real. In the past era of the frontier, there was no giant Ratboy. In fact, there was not even a topple town. The land was simply filled with flowers and trees of the forest. However, one day a town fell from the sky down onto the soil. A while later, a giant Ratboy fell down right next to the town we now know as Topple Town. Guards and citizens of the town saw this and questioned its mysterious and sudden appearance. Adventurers from the frontier decided to speak to the giant Ratboy, only to be sucked into a horror beyond their imagination. There were stories of only some of the adventurers coming back, some shaken up so bad they couldn't even communicate. These stories soon reached the guards and townsfolk, which resulted in Town fearing the giant Ratboy. But the giant Ratboy was not alone. He had followers, known as the Ratfolk. These Ratfolk would generally preach about the importance of not waking the Ratboy up. This included making sure that the adventurers, that for some reason still wanted to talk to the Ratboy, didn't venture too far into the unknown. However, one day a particularly odd adventurer made their appearance in town. This adventurer was different from the others. It almost seems like they didn't belong here, not in this world. Still though, they insisted on going into the giant Ratboy. Eventually, a Ratfolk broke and gave his key to the mysterious adventurer. Soon after, the oddity disappeared into the Ratboy, not to be seen for a long time. The adventurer stands in a dimly lit room, a figure standing next to him.
I was quite worried you wouldn't show, but here you are. I'm so pleased we have crossed paths. You see, I am in incredible need of help. My friend has gone missing. He's a very important friend, but I am worried he's up to no good. His name is the Journeyman. Please, you must find him. If you think my appearance is odd or untrustworthy, I don't blame you. But hear this, the Journeyman's secret and disappearance is twice as dishonest. He is far more devious than the likes of me or you. Please, nothing could be more important. Find the Journeyman.
Tintoy disappeared out of thin air and left the adventurer alone to figure out his own path. The first place they stumble upon is a restaurant called The Deli. The food looks rather suspicious though, best not to make an order. The adventurer silently makes a path to the mansion, while they press magical buttons, fight monsters, and unlock hidden puzzles. Within long, the adventurer had collected all the keys of whatever this nightmarish place may be, even two distinct orbs that were requested by a giant Ratfolk. The vault's doors open as the adventurers step inside, only to be met by the old Tintoy.
Surprise! I tricked you. That's right. Oh, what a horrid thing. I'm smiling because I finally tricked you. And him. I tricked you both. I tricked the Journeyman. All you did was make this massive horrible hole. The nightmare's power. It hasn't lessened at all. It's been growing. And what can you do? What can you do, I said. There's nothing here. Just a massive hole. And a locked door. Locked for all of time. The nightmare's power is growing behind a door you may never open. Leave. Leave and remember. But when time has taken you, and you have forgotten me, my nightmare will be yours.
This, however, did not threaten the oddity that was the adventurer. They simply opened the door to the next room. A frog sits on a row of chairs, waiting for something, for someone. Finally, a visitor has come. Oh, the door is finally open. You've been wanting to get in, huh? That's funny. I've been waiting to get out. Then, you've come looking for the nightmare's crux, haven't you? Just as I was ready to leave. Strong adventurers come in, looking to challenge the nightmare itself. You really think you can fight it, do you? If the Ratboy could not eliminate the miscreant from his own very dream, what hope do you have? The adventurer had only one goal in mind, defeating the nightmare. The old tin toy might have tricked him, but as long as the giant Ratboy awakes from his slumber, peace can be restored to the land of the sky. Now the adventurer opens the final door, the door to Ratboy's dungeon. They desperately try to wake the sleeping Ratboy up, but it seemed to have angered the dark force of the nightmare. Now the background mimics that of old memories, as a horrid creature appears and assaults the adventurer. Eventually though, Circus 2 is defeated by the oddity. Now the Ratboy is awake, but at what cost? That is the story of the nightmare so far, at least from our perspective. Next we will take a look at the characters of Ratboy's nightmare. As most stories, the nightmare has both antagonists and a protagonist. The journeyman is the protagonist. He is short-tempered, as can be seen on his frequent outbursts of anger when the player talks with him. However, he is still a vital part of our journey, because we need him to give us the dark marble so we can unlock the vault and defeat the nightmare. Meanwhile, old Tin Toy is trying to make Ratboy's nightmare more powerful. He is manipulative and makes us open the vault. But why will Journeyman give us what old Tin Toy wanted? Well, it's because the Journeyman believes in us to finish our story, our journey, the nightmare's journey. It doesn't matter what we stand for, as long as our soul is pure and our journey can be continued. The frog can be found in the waiting room. He seems to be a lost traveler. The same can be said for Toasted Josh, who can be seen in many places in the nightmare. Granted, he doesn't seem lost. He just wants the creatures known as running men and caught men. Josh is probably eating the poor man, because his dialogue after you gave him a running man is tasty. Another character of Ratboy's nightmare is Ronald Easy Jackson. This guy will have his own video though. There is also a giant rat folk that sits next to the vault door. He's the protagonist, but doesn't seem to have a high importance when it comes to the overall story. He does however have a lot to tell us about Ratboy's nightmare. He tells us a lot of stuff, but the most important part is about how we come from the sky. You see, for every nightmare there's a dreamer. In fact, you come from his land, haven't you? He resides here too. Surely this fortune is that of a dreamer. But the nightmare, that distorted domain, it is the work of a third party, a catalyst of the nightmare's creation. Of course we also know we come from the sky because of the player falling from the sky when first entering the game. So this dialogue serves as confirmation that the giant Ratboy is the dreamer and the catalyst is Circus. A catalyst speeds up a process, however it doesn't start it. This means that Circus helped Ratboy's nightmare become stronger, but there was something or someone else that started it. This will be explained in the next video about the nightmare. The giant Ratfolk also talks about fortune and Ratboy tokens. This most likely references the Sky Kingdom. Finally, when we defeat Circus, the Ratboy wakes up and finishes off the catalyst. This means that the giant Ratboy probably won't be sleeping in the update for players that have defeated Circus. Meanwhile, players that have not defeated Circus will still be able to see the Ratboy sleeping. That is all for today. Next video we'll also discuss the story of the nightmare by explaining where it came from and who created it.